All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining me on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's holy Sabbath day. Now, before we get started, let me invite you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and tell a friend to tell a friend and have them tell a friend. Don't forget to smash that notification bell because I do not want you to miss any of our lessons. And if you feel so inclined to donate, please check the description box down below. Now, we got that part out of the way. We're going to jump into our lesson. And this lesson is a part of our commandment series. This one is the 6th commandment dealing with murder. Thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt not murder. Okay, so we're going to look at that and we're going to break it down. We're going to go some Old Testament, some New Testament, and get, a deeper understanding of what is meant here as far as we're talking about thou shalt not murder. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and jump into our lesson and start where we have been starting all of these lessons right in the beginning. When it comes to the commandment, we're going to focus on the 10. So we're going to deal with the 6th commandment. So we're going to start at Exodus 20 and take a look at this. So Exodus 20, and we shall look at verse 13. And as I said already, it says thou shalt not kill, right? In your King James, it says thou shalt not kill. But I want to look at that real quick. We need to break it down. We need to look behind, the meanings of the words and look at a few things I want to point out to you. So let's have a quick little takeaway. So we're going to go Exodus 20 because we're going to go to the Strongs and look at it. Okay. And we're going to look up kill. Okay. So in the Hebrew, kill is 7523. So 7523, right? Which is ratach, right? Ratach, right? And it means to murder, slay, kill, right? To murder, to slay. Now, it has a few more little definitions there. Premeditated or accidental, like we have like manslaughter and stuff like that, right? Premeditated, accidental, as an avenger. Those things are going to come up. A slayer, okay? To be slain, to murder, to assassinate, right? Murder, assassinate. Okay, that's in the lexicon, and over in the Strongs, we have it properly to dash to pieces. I'm going to rip you limb from limb. I'm going to rip you to pieces. I'm going to tear you to shreds, stuff like that, right? So you have that, and that is to kill, like to kill like a human being, especially to murder, okay? And particularly to murder, okay? So we're going to look at this in particular, to put to death, or manslay, or murderer, right? Murder, murderer, manslayer, or to slay, or slayer, or murderer. We're going to look at some of this, right? I want you guys to join me over real quick. I want to go to Matthew 5 and 21. So I'm going to go to Matthew 5 and 21, and I want to look at that. So we looked at it in the Hebrew, and now I want to look at it in the Greek before we go any further. So Matthew 5 verse 21, and it says kill there. The kill in the Greek is the Greek 5407, right? Phauo, right? To kill, to slay, to murder, to commit murder, okay? To be a murderer, or to kill, to do murder, to slay, right? So they're saying that what they meant in the thou shalt not kill, they meant murder. Okay, we're talking about murdering someone. See, there's a subtle difference, and I think you guys are going to catch it here pretty soon. But hold on, we're gonna keep breaking it down. Matthew, let's go to 10:28. Okay, Matthew 10 verse 28. Okay, and it says, "Fear not him that can kill the body." Okay, now this one is the Greek 615. Okay, we're going to look at the difference here. 615, okay, which is to kill in any way whatsoever or whatever, to destroy, to allow to perish, okay, to extinguish, to abolish, to afflict mortal death, to deprive of spiritual life, and procure eternal misery in hell. Okay, so that's the last one there. That's the lexicon. And in Strong's, it says to kill outright, figuratively to destroy or put to death, kill, slay, right? Two different words. That's why I wanted to point this out so we can see the difference. I want you guys to see the difference. Now I'm going to make it practical. I'll put it in layman's terms here in a minute. But let's look at Jeremiah 7 and 9. Let's look at that real quick, and then I will explain. So let's look at Jeremiah 7 and 9. We're looking at Old Testament, New Testament. We want to look at Jeremiah 7, 9 right there. And it says the word murder right there. Okay, which is, I said, which before it was ratash, right? To murder, kill, slay. To murder, slay, like I said, premeditated, accidental, avenger, stuff like that. That's what we said before. Now, let me explain. The difference between kill and murder is really going to depend on the context. Now, what I mean by that is to murder someone is going to be of some malicious intent. You go and you murder someone, it's premeditated, as we saw in the definition. Some sort of premeditated. You want to take out a life. Assassination, that's a murder, right? Someone is assassinating someone, okay? It may not have a cause. There would be no cause. You wake up, choose violence, someone dies, right? So to murder someone, there may not even be a cause, or it may not be justified. It's not justified, or it's unlawful, or whatever the case may be. It's not right. The shedding of innocent blood, okay, that's murder, okay? All right, when you take the life of a child, that's murder, okay? That's not a cause there, not justified, okay? You take the life of a helpless elderly person or something like that. You just like, they get on my nerves. Who's gonna miss them? And you delete them. You unalive them. Not cool. That is murder. Not cool. Not right. So premeditated, assassinated, stuff like that. That is murder. The difference is to kill may not be. It's not a premeditated thing. I'll give you an example, if you bear with me a little. For example, someone breaks into your home. You catch them, you see them. They may be about to deal the death blow to a loved one, to your spouse, to your child, or something like that. You have the opportunity, you have the drop on them to take them out before they harm your family member, right? Now, you may have killed them, but you did not murder them. You unalived them, but you did not murder them, because you did not wake up, seek them out, take out their life. There's no cause. You're talking about defending your family, or self-defense, meaning you would not have done, if they left you alone, you would have left them alone, right? So there's a subtle difference between murdering and killing. The result is the same. Somebody's unalive, but the intent behind it. Now, the reason that is important is because we have a commandment that says, thou shalt not murder, right? In your King James, it's going to say kill, but then we look behind the definition, talk about murder. So we're not going to take an innocent life, right? Because the contradiction some people want to use is that, the Most High, he says, thou shalt not murder, and then he have Israel go around and kill this person and kill this person and kill. Now, okay, there's a difference between murder and kill. Okay? Now, if the Most High had them at the time, I'm not telling anybody to do any of that stuff right now, but at the time, take out someone's life, we don't know what they're guilty of, but the Most High does. He didn't make mistakes like that. He knew whatever transgression they had committed, he wanted Israel to execute that. Okay? So, kill, murder, two different things. Context, the intent behind. Is there a probable cause? Is it provoked, unprovoked? Those type of things. It depends. Okay? It's self-defense, and you end up killing someone. Hey, you didn't want to, but you had to make a decision. Now, don't get me wrong, the result is the same. Somebody's unalive. But what is the intent behind it? What's the context? Right? What's the context? You have crimes of passion. There's a lot of nuance. Can we at least agree on that? There's a lot of nuance. Now, some people, they don't want to, they don't want the distinction. They're like, well, it's all, no, there's a big difference. And I've laid out a few examples. I beg your kindest of pardons. I beg your finest of pardons. There is a huge difference between murder and kill. Big difference. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look. We're going to keep it going here. And you guys join me over in Leviticus 24 and 17. Verse 17. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. He that killeth any man shall be surely put to death. See? Keep in mind what I just said to you. And look at what's happened. This will be a contradiction in term. God thinks it's really bad to kill someone. So if you kill someone, he's going to have you killed. See how there will be a contradiction there? See, there has to be an offense. There has to be a cause. What is for it to be a murder? Okay, so you just wake up, you just decide to take someone's life because you're mad, because you're having a bad day, because you plot, planned, and schemed. You see, that's the difference. You want to assassinate someone. That's murder. You want to unalive an old person. You want to unalive a child in the womb. All murder, murder, murder. All that's murder. Okay? There is a difference. So he that murder any man shall surely be put to death. Anyone who murders shall be killed. Okay, so we just want to get on the same page. I just want to get rid of the confusion. I don't want us to conflate the two. Okay, that's why I went to the different definitions, and sometimes it didn't offer as much clarity as some people would want. It may not have put it in layman's terms. In some cases, it did. But then we look at our definition. But then we got to go back to context as well, right? So let's go to Exodus 21. Let's go back a book. Let's go to Exodus 21. And when we get to Exodus 21, we're going to read 12 through 14. Let's take a look at it. And he that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. I mean, you hit him, you struck him, something, and he dies. You shall be put to death, right? And if a man lie not in wait, okay, but God deliver him into his hands, then I will appoint thee a place whither he shall flee, right? Okay, so you hit a man. What was it? 12. Okay, you smite a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. Right? You're gonna get that. But if you live, then we'll find there's a place, basically the whole city of refuge, and we'll get into that. We will get into that, right? But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from mine altar that he may die. Right? In 14. He pulls a Drago. He's like, hey, if he dies, he dies. He won't have this place of safety. Right? Because even in our country, we have manslaughter stuff. You can still get jail time for that. It may be a little less because, you didn't commit a murder or whatever, accident, that type of thing, but you still get slayed. So if you look at something like this, okay, he puts like a city of refuge or something like that for, accident, maybe an accident or something like that. But he said, if not, he come out of my altar. That, hey, if he dies, he dies. It is what it is, right? But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor, okay, so you want to just come on all willy-nilly on his neighbor, to slay him with guile, be sneaky, all right? Stealth, underhand. You know what? We'll just go ahead and get the definition for you guys. No problem. So, let's go ahead. We're in Exodus 21. And we are at verse 14. And guile, shrewdness, craftiness, prudence. If you want to come in there with that, that's in the lexicon. In the Strong's, it's trickery, okay, or discretion. That's why I said sneaky, subtlety, subtly. Okay, you want to sneak up, you want to do that. All right, give that to you. Just it's like I said, you want to do that presumptuous like that. There's going to be a problem. Okay, there's going to be a problem. All right, now presumptuously, to boil up, to seethe, act proudly. You want to come. Hey, you want to come in there. Okay, act presumptuously, act rebelliously, be arrogant, proud. You wake up, choose violence. You just want to come upon your neighbor, and you just want to end it. You want to end it for that person. You want to punch their ticket. Okay, it's over. Okay. So if you want to do it like that, to slay him with guile, thou shalt take him from my altar that he may die. He's out of my protection. Take him from my altar. Get him up out of here that he may die. Because he went to unalive somebody. Right? Okay, so I want you guys to see the difference and see the context. I hope you guys are seeing that context is very important. Exodus 22. And we're going to do 2 and 3. And it says what? If a thief be found, break it up and be smitten that he die. There shall no blood be shed for him. So he breaks it. The thief breaks into your house and then you unalive him. There'll be no blood shed for him. It is what it is. Right? So that is not a murder. That's a kill, not a murder. Okay? I just want you to see how the Most High looks at it differently, right? If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, and he lives. For he should make full restitution, right? So he's got to make restitution. And if he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft, right? So he's going to be the restitution. Okay? You're going to sell him out as a slave. Okay? We're talking about Old Testament. You're going to sell him out as a slave. Because he needs to pay up. He needs to pay with his possessions or pay with his body. You see what I'm talking about? You got to see the subtle differences here. Okay? Let's go to 23 and 7 of Exodus. Exodus 23 and 7. And it says what? Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not. Don't kill them, for I will not justify the wicked. Don't slay them. Don't kill them. Don't slay them. You see there's a difference? Someone who is guilty of something will be put to death. I want you guys to see the subtle differences there. We go to Proverbs 28 and 17. Proverbs 28 and 17. And 17 reads this way. And a man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him. Don't save him. You can't save him. Basically, he's going to get what's coming to him. Right? And see, people who have particular views, if you say, okay, pro-death penalty. Well, the Bible has the death penalty for some stuff. 'Cause, 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 'cause The Bible has a death penalty too. So you can still be in line with the Bible and still support a death penalty, right? You can support a death penalty and be pro-life. That's possible because one's innocent, the other's not. That's the difference. I mean, we're talking about the 6th Commandment here, so it's bound to come up. And he just said, the righteous. Don't kill someone, innocent and righteous. What is that, 27:17? And the man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him. And what we read over Exodus 23:7. Don't slay the righteous. Let's look at this. Let's go on over to Genesis. We're going to go to Genesis 4. Genesis chapter 4. Super early in the Bible. Genesis chapter 4. And we're going to read 6 through 8. And the Lord said unto Cain, and why thou wroth, and why is thy countenance fallen? Like, why are you mad? Why your face look like that, right? If thou doest well, thou shalt not be accepted. And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him, right? So he's basically saying you're emotional, and you're about to mess up. And look at verse 8. And Cain walked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. Rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. There's your first murder. He had no reason, no cause. He was just jealous. Abel's sacrifice was accepted. Cain was not. Why did Abel have to lose his life for that? He just shed innocent blood. This is the difference, brothers and sisters. This is the difference. Now the Most High, for his own reasons that are his own, he spared Cain. But the death of Cain wouldn't have been murdered. But as you can see, when you continue to read, when you read more into the story, Cain was worried about receiving the same thing that he did to his own brother. He thought, well, I'll be murdered. When people find out what he did to his brother. And they're all family at this point. They're all brothers and sisters. But look at what's happening. Let's keep it going. We're going to go to chapter 9 in Genesis. Let's go to chapter 9 in Genesis. 4 through 6. He said, but flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat, right? So blood, rare, talk about, this is the Most High talking to Noah. Talking about, like some people eat their steaks super rare, but yeah, I'm not one of those people. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. And at the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. So he's just saying, it's going to be carried out by man. Shedding blood be carried about man. If a man takes a man's life, then that man's life will be taken. It's not murder for murder. It's kill for the murder. It's the execution, the judgment. Are you guys understanding, the difference there? See, one wouldn't happen if it wasn't caused by the other. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. We are 6. Here we go. 6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. So whoever sheds his blood, so whoever commits a murder will be killed. It's not whoever committed murder will be murdered. Because now you got a contradiction, right? So let's go ahead and add some clarity, because we saw the word can be interchanged, but the context determines the definition, correct? Okay, this is reading comprehension, right? Reading comprehension 101. So that's what I'm saying here. He said, whoever sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Okay, so if you commit a murder, you will be killed. One is caused by the other. One's without a cause, and the other one, it has a cause. You get what's coming to you because you did X, Y, Z. That's why. Okay? I hope I'm being very clear on that. Okay? Proverbs 6. Join me over in Proverbs 6. Proverbs 6. And we're going to start at 16. We'll read 16 through 19. Let's look at some of the things that the Most High does not like. He said in 16, he says, these 6 things does the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. Let's look at it. A proud look, a lying tongue, and the hands that shed innocent blood. The hands that shed innocent blood. I really want to highlight, underscore, bold, italicize that one right there. That's what he does not like. And a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren, because we know where that can lead to. But he says, hands that shed innocent blood. He doesn't like murderers. Murderers. He doesn't like murderers. So you cannot blame someone like in a holy war or something to Israel, and they go to war and they're killing the enemies and stuff like that. Oh, they're just murdering and murdering all that. I don't know. All I know was the judgment that the Most High had put on the other nations, right? He put a judgment on them for whatever his reasons are. In some cases, he'll let us know, what they've done. In other cases, he may not say. But if that's his judgment, then that's his judgment. So let's keep it going. There's always like a distinction. I'm just one that if I perceive a contradiction, I'm not going to assume that it is indeed a contradiction. I'm not saying there's no such thing. I'm just saying I'm not going to assume that it's a contradiction. I'm going to assume I'm misunderstanding something. I'm going to assume that, you know what? Maybe I need to look a little bit deeper than that. Maybe something doesn't quite make sense. Right? So some people might think it's a contradiction. Some people might think it's double standard. I don't know. But I do know that our scriptures should harmonize and we should be able to reconcile. Right? So this is my hope. This is what I want to do. I want to reconcile. Okay? And then at the end of the day, even if it was, it's a double standard. The Most High, He's holy, He's righteous, He knows everything. He's not mistake prone. We are. We don't know everything. We are finite. He is infinite. So, if we look at the probability of me being wrong versus the Most High being wrong, what are you putting your money on? All right. So before I think, there's some sort of contradiction or there's a misunderstanding, I'm going to think it's a misunderstanding on my part first. I'm starting right there. Square one. Okay, Robert, what do you not get here? What has got you scratching your head? And then we'll study deeper. Then we'll go further. Right? So, I said all that to say this. Pardon that digression. But I said all that to say this. There's a difference between murder and kill. Difference. Okay? Context will determine that. Okay? We'll get back into that. We'll get more into that a little bit later. Let's keep going. Let's go to Numbers. Let's go to Numbers chapter 35, if you will. Numbers chapter 35. And we're going to read 9 through 31. Let's look at it. Let's break it down. Verse 9. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come over Jordan into the land of Canaan, then ye shall appoint you cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the slayer may flee thither, which killed any person at unawares. Okay? And they shall be unto you cities for refuge from the avenger. Right? You kill someone unawares, he didn't know. You killed someone, you know, it's like manslaughter. You didn't mean to, right? That the manslayer die not until he stand before the congregation in judgment. Okay, they have to basically have a trial, right? And of these cities which ye shall give, 6 cities ye shall have for a refuge. You're going to make 6 cities as a refuge, as a city of refuge, right? Ye shall give 3 cities on this side of Jordan, and 3 cities ye shall give in the land of Canaan, which shall be cities of refuge. And these 6 cities shall be a refuge both for the children of Israel and for the stranger and for the sojourner among them, that every one that kill any person unawares may flee thither. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer, and the murderer shall surely be put to death. Right here, okay? So this one's on purpose. All right, on this one. He's a murderer, and he shall be put to death. He's a murderer, and he shall be killed. Now, the person who's executing that punishment, that's not a murderer. He unalived him, but he's not a murderer. Okay? Something caused him to have to execute this person, right? 17. And if he smite him with throwing a stone wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. Or if he smite him with a hand weapon of wood wherewith he may die, and he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. The revenger of blood himself shall slay the murderer. When he meeteth him, he shall slay him, right? This person getting, revenge, right? But if he thrust him of hatred, or hurl at him by laying at wait that he die, or in enmity smite him with his hand that he die, he that smote him shall surely be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood shall slay the murderer when he meeteth him, okay? The revenger is going to slay the murderer. But if he thrust him suddenly without enmity, or has cast upon him anything without laying of wait, right? Okay, this is meditated versus premeditated, that type of thing. The intent behind it, guys. Or with any 23, or with any stone wherewith the man may die, seeing him not, and cast it upon him that he die, and was not his enemy, neither sought him harm, he didn't mean to, then the congregation shall judge between the slayer and the revenger of blood according to these judgments. And the congregation shall deliver the slayer out of the hand of the revenger of blood, okay, because it was an accident. And the congregation shall restore him to the city of his refuge, whither he was fled. And he shall abide in it unto the death of the high priest, which was anointed with holy oil. But if the slayer shall at any time come without the border of the city of his refuge, whether he was fled, the revenger of the blood find him without the border of the city of his refuge, and the revenger of of blood kill the slayer, he shall not be guilty of blood. Let me pause there for a note. So this person, he didn't mean to, okay, like a manslaughter, he killed. Now all the ones where he says he did it on purpose, well, yeah, he can die. He's gonna die, okay. Now this other one, he killed someone, okay. It may not have been premeditated, but that person still died. And now you got a revenger, a friend, a family member, whoever, he want to come collect on that. But this guy's in a city of refuge because it was an accident. He was in a city of refuge. Okay, so he has to get a trial, and the congregation be like, nah, man, it was an accident. He's gonna be here. He's just gonna stay here because he didn't mean to do it. So we just gonna keep him here. Okay, cool. He's safe. He's safe there as long as he stay there. But the phrase, catch me outside. So if the revenger catches him outside of those city borders, he's fair game. The revenger get him, and then nothing happened to the revenger. He got him. You made a mistake, but guess what? Your new resident was right here within these walls, right here in this city. That's what's your safety. Outside these walls, you're fair game. See? So this is what we're talking about. And he shall not be guilty of blood. Why? Because he should have remained in the city of his refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the slayer shall return into the land of his possession. You stay here, the death of the high priest, because the high priest says, okay, you're safe, you're under my protection, you're under the city's protection, you stay here. Now, when he dies, then you need to get on back to where you came from, safely if you can. But if you want to wander on off because you thought the revenger forgot all about it, okay, well, hey, that's on you. That's on you. I want to share this because I want you guys to see the subtle nuances there. I want you guys to see the differences. We're going to read a little bit more. So these things shall be for a statute of judgment unto you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoso killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. Put to death, killed, right? Difference between murder and kill. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die. Okay, it's going to take more than one witness to get this thing done, right? Moreover, ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death. He's not a big fan of murderers. You see the difference? Not against killing, but he's against murderers. Okay, I hope this is starting to come into focus, right? Let's go. Meet me over in Ezekiel. Let's go to Ezekiel 18. Ezekiel 18. We just want one verse. Ezekiel 18. And we're going to read verse 32. Ezekiel 18, verse 32. And it says, what? For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth, says the Lord. Wherefore turn yourselves and live ye. So it's not a big... Even though the Most High will lay the smack down, will put some people to rest, doesn't like it. It's just what he has to do. It's just what he has to do. Yes, I know his vesture be dipped in blood and all. I understand. I never said he won't kill. I did not say that. He will. He just doesn't have any pleasure in it. He just this is what's necessary. Right? This is what's prescribed. Okay, so let's keep it going. That is the difference. A lot of people had a hard time, wrestling with this whole idea. Let's go to Matthew. Okay, we're going to go on to Matthew. We were there earlier. We're going to go back. Matthew 5, 21, 22. And he says, you have heard that it was said by them of old, thou shalt not kill, right? Murder. And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of judgment. So murder shall be in danger of judgment. We read the definition earlier. Okay, so that was 21. We're going to read 22. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause, like murder, without a cause, shall be in danger of judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Racha, shall be in danger of the council. But whoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire, right? So you're cursing him, you're killing him, basically you're condemning him ahead of time already. You're already condemning him. You already got hate in your heart. You're already angry with him without a cause. Without a cause. Without a cause, that is murder. You have no reason, that is murder. Are we starting to get it? Let's go to. I'm just trying to help you out. I hope we get some understanding. If we get some understanding, comment down below. Let me know we're getting a little bit of understanding here. So 15, we're going to go to Matthew 15. Chapter 15 in Matthew. And we're going to read 18 and 19. It says, but those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. Let's see what some of those things that comes out of our mind and our heart, right? For out of the heart proceeds evil thoughts, because your heart doesn't think, it pumps blood, right? So I could say out of the mind. So out of the mind proceeded evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornication, theft, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. But to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. But to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. Okay, but he's talking about the murders. Those things come out of the thoughts of man. Those things. Okay, unprovoked. Unprovoked killing, that's murder. That's what it is. We're going to keep this going. We're going to keep it going. We're going to go to John 8:44. John 8:44. And he says, what? You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So he was a murderer, cutting you off from life, right? So, like Satan, Hasatan, he cut man off from life. He cut us off from eternal life. We got tricksy, okay? We got tricked. We got hoodwinked, bamboozled, hornswoggled. We fell for it. Fell for the okie doke, starting with Eve. Fell for the okie doke, and now we all die. Okay? Murderer. And Satan, he really doesn't have a good reason to hate us. I mean, I know Satan hates us, but he don't have a good reason. Okay, so man is the apple of God's eye, and Satan want to be special. Okay, but that ain't a reason to hate us. That's still without a cause. That's not a reason. That's still without a cause. I mean, he, for whatever reason, he upset. That's just hating our very existence just because we exist. That's not enough. That's not gonna cut it. That's not gonna cut it. But we're all trying to make it. We're all trying to get in, right? So let's keep this thing going. Join me over in Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. We're going to start rounding it out. And we're going to read 19 to 21. Now look at this. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these. So they're obvious. Which are these? Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulation, wrath, strife, sedition, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, reveling, and such like. Of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. That they who do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. That's why this series is important. That we have a deeper understanding of the 10 commandments. Yes, there are more commandments, but I want us to have a deeper understanding of the 10 commandments. Because we've been hearing it our whole life. Oh yeah, 10 commandments, thou shalt not lie, not bear false witness, blah, blah, blah. And we brush it off, blow it off and all that. Okay, yeah. But these are some things that can keep us out of the kingdom if we don't get a handle on it. And many of us, oh well, I've never murdered anyone or what. Okay, well, did you hate on your brother without a cause? See, I want us to get this. That's why I'm actually enjoying doing the series, because that way we got a whole week. Okay? We got a whole week to think about one commandment. Really dig deep. Really internalize what we're dealing with here. Until the next lesson comes out. Focus on one. Just focus on this one. For this week. Focus on this one for this week. We'll get to another lesson. Just focus on this one to this week. I want us all to make it. Let's go on over to Revelation 21. Revelation 21. That's what you're here for, right? You just want to make it to the kingdom, right? That's what you're here for. You're trying to get past that finish line. Well, I got to tell you the things that can get us past that finish line. I got to at least tell you what it is, right? If you want to win the game, you got to know the rules. 21:8. He said, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Look at the people who are going to go into the fire. Look at the people who are going to go into the lake. This simply just not going to make it. Simply not going to make it. Okay, so I want all of us. I want all of us. I want all of us to just get a nice, deeper understanding. So we go through these lessons and go through this series, 10 Commandments. That's why I want to dig deeper. I want to go into the Strongs. I want to go into the lexicon. I want to look at this. I want to get into context. We'll go into the scriptures. I want to look at this in context. So we can get a really good understanding. We can get a really good handle on this. I don't want us to just take this willy-nilly. Not take this serious. We got to understand, we want to have the same mind as the Most High. We want to have the same mind as the authors who wrote the passages that we're reading. We want to look at the same thing. We want to see it from their perspective, not just our perspective here in modernity. We want their perspective too, their understanding. That's why it's important for us to look at the definitions. That's why it's important for us to look at context. Sometimes we do. Sometimes you have people out there, and I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, sometimes some of us, we don't know the difference between murder and the difference between kill. Now, until we bear it out, until I elucidate what, like, for example, the stories, the cities of refuge, give you an understanding. Okay, someone who didn't mean to do it. Some people, it was an accident, or they did it on purpose. And look at the attitude difference that the Most High had. Look at how he viewed it. Okay, and I want you guys to see the difference. Okay, even for the most part, and we know we got a corrupt legal system. We know we have that, but we do see that if you did something on accident, typically the sentence or the penalty is less than if you did something on purpose. Okay, typically. All right, I know someone gonna hold up their hand and be like, no, I know a guy, he just da-da-da, and he got max this, that. I get it. That's because there's corruption also in the system. All right, but we should have some checks and balances. We should have, okay, so if this happens, this is a punishment. I mean, that's what we should do. I mean, even the Most High, right here in the Bible where we read, he has certain things, and he already said, okay, so if X, Y, Z happened, this is what you should do. It's spelled out for him. We should have something like that. And the point is, there is a difference between the two. And I just wanted to point out those differences. Okay, so join me over in Romans. And we're going to go to Romans 13, actually. Go to Romans 13, we're going to read 8 through 10, which reads, owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another has fulfilled the law. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, therefore love is fulfilling of the law. You're going to hear me say it now, and you've heard me say it in other lessons. The last 6 commandments is how we love one another. The first 4 is how we love the Most High. Now you get some people who are New Testament Christians, and then they feel like, oh, see, all we got to do is just love our neighbor as ourselves. See, but that's arbitrary. That's just kind of in their head. They like it to be vague. They like it to be ambiguous. They love it. They want the meaning to be obfuscated. They want that, because then they can make it up in their mind. They can make it mean whatever they want it to mean. All I got to do is just love my neighbor. That's it. That's all I got to do. I just got to love my neighbor. But Jesus said, just love thy neighbor as thyself. Yeah, you're right. You know what it's from? Do we have to go to Leviticus? Do we got to go to Deuteronomy? And I like here, Paul, I like to put it here because see, Paul, he spelled it out. He's letting you know, remember, Paul, Hebrew of Hebrews, tribe of Benjamin, Pharisee of Pharisees, touching the law, okay? So we know how he understands it. And so when he hears love thy neighbor as thyself, he knows, oh, okay, yeah, this is how we love our neighbor as ourselves. What does that look like? See, they don't want it spelled out for you. They don't want that. They want to make it up however, that way, to each his own. That's what they want. They don't want this biblical referee. They don't want that. They don't want that. That's too much expectation on that. Look at how Paul, he said, see, this is how we got to get it right here, right? Owe no man anything but to love one another, right? So love thy neighbor, okay? To love one another. For he that loveth another has fulfilled the law. So then it begs the question, okay, so how did that happen? How did I fulfill the law? Just by loving. For this is how you do it, right? Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder, okay? Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, and thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying. So if there's any other commandment, when there's a lot, right? How do we briefly understand it? It can all be encompassed, okay, comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. It's briefly understood in this short little phrase. This is how all those laws that has to do with me and you dealing with each other, this is how it's all encompassed in this one little phrase. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor, talking about the last 6. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. Love is the doing of the law. These last 6 that we're talking about of the 10. That is fulfilling the law. So we're getting an understanding of what Paul or Shaul understood when it came to the law. So you get these people who act like you don't have to do anything, but it's all throughout the New Testament as well. I speak to them that know the law. Yeah. We don't have to constantly over and over and over. Okay, do this law, that law. We don't have to recite all the laws there was. You don't have to do that. I speak to them that know the law. He said what in Acts, where Moses was taught in every city, every church, every Sabbath day. It's law throughout this entire law, all the way in Revelation. Those who keep the commandments of God and the testimony of Christ. So both the Old and New Testament is replete with law. Let's go on to our last place, Matthew 22. Matthew 22. We're going to finish up right here in Matthew 22. We're going to start at 36. Matthew 22, 36 to 40. 36 says, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? And Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. And this is the first and great commandment. And the second is likened unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And on these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. All the law and the prophets is contained in these 2 sayings. It's briefly comprehended in these 2 sayings. Love your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. Love thy neighbor as thyself. It's still there. Now, this lesson in particular is about thou shalt not murder. I hope that you guys get a bit of an understanding that there's a difference between murder and kill. I hope you understand that there is a distinction between the 2. I hope I laid that out for you. Give me your thoughts. Please comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. But before we get out of here, let me encourage you to like, share, comment, subscribe. Please, by all means, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Do not forget to smash that notification bell because I don't want you to miss any of our lessons. And if you feel so inclined to donate, check the description box down below. So until next time, search the scriptures. Improve all things. Shalom, Israel.